the process that we have already started on consideration and approval of municipal tariff application. There were comments that members have already made and guidance provided to the team. We will take that as having been noted, and that the team, in their presentation of the item of the application, they will cover those points that members have raised. Before we proceed with the first item, maybe let me just allow us to introduce ourselves to those who do not know us as REC members. I'll start with myself. My name is Nomalanga Stole. I'm the CEO at NESA and chairperson of the REC. I sit on a number of committees and subcommittees of the energy regulator, and I would like to welcome everyone that has joined us for this particular meeting. I'll then proceed to introduce the next member of the REC, which is Mr. Muzi Mkhize. He is the member of this particular committee, which is the REC, and a chairperson of the Petroleum Pipeline Subcommittee. He also sits on a number of committees and subcommittees of the energy regulator. Mr. Mkhize, would you like to greet everyone?
Greetings to you, Chairperson, my fellow member, Madam Masike, management and staff of NESA, as well as the members of the public that are following us through the various live streaming platforms. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. The next member of the REC is Ms. Nomfundo Maseti. She is the member of the REC, chairperson of the Pipe Gas Subcommittee and the acting FTRM and chairperson of the Electricity Subcommittee. She sits on a number of NESA committees and as well as subcommittees. Ms. Maseti, would you want to greet?
Thank you, Chairperson, and good morning to you. Good morning to Mr. Mkhize, to the colleagues on the call, and to the members of the public following us on various live streaming platforms. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We have two items for the open session of our meeting. We'll start with the first one, which is on municipal tariff application for the financial year 2025-26. Let me hand over to you, Babu Matibula, to introduce and allow us to go to the first presenter on the first application that we have on the agenda.
Chair, thank you very much, and thanks to the members on the call. Chair, without a waste of time, we just wanted to indicate that we will be withdrawing one item this morning, Matlosana Municipality. We have information that we need to update on that submission, and we would like to have it tabled and discussed on the 20th when we do the final round of these tariff applications. I also wanted to just emphasize that we have received to date in excess of 130 written comments, and 10 of those were from private individuals. And I also need to indicate that 97 out of those 130 were actually coming from the city of Cape Town. So without further ado, Chair, I would like to check if maybe Brian has got something to say before we get the first presenter. Thank you.
That is Chair.
No, there's nothing. I think the EM represented very well, Chair. We can continue.
Okay,
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Matibula and Sichotlo. We will then start with the first application. It's an application from Phalaborwa. Mr. Modise, if you can lead the committee through that particular application, over to you. Please be mindful of the time in terms of having to present so that we allow members to raise questions. Over to you, Dr. Modise.
Thank you, Chairperson, and good morning to you, board members, management, and NESA colleagues. The application in front of us is from Phalaborwa Municipality. The application is compliant to all legislative requirements as it was endorsed by the Council, and furthermore, NESA published it for 30 days to solicit comment from stakeholders, and there were no comments received. Moving on to the performance of the municipality. The municipality is doing very well, as it is shown by the increase in surplus and the energy losses that are going down. However, the municipality will be encouraged to keep the losses to a single digit. Moving on to the tariffs for the for the municipal to reach a cost reflectivity, they are requiring 12.5%, which is the exact number that the municipality is applying for. And on the recommendation, we are recommending for the regulator to note the cost of supply report submitted by the municipality. And secondly, that the tariff that are based on cost of supply report being approved as recommended in the analysis sheet section for implementation 1st July 2025. And the municipality to submit a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted in its cost of supply to enable the regulator to perform independent verification process. And the municipality to further submit an audited financial report that reflect the impact of its cost-based tariff on customer as well as the licensing sustainability. And finally, the municipality to submit a smart energy reduction plan for energy regulator to monitor the implementation thereof. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Ntate Modise. Members, questions, issues for clarity or points of enhancements on this application? If you have any, please do raise your hand so that you can be recognized. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Over to you.
Chairperson, thank you. I don't intend to delay your meeting today, noting that this is a continuation of several sessions that we have already had, considering these tariff applications based on the cost of supply studies that these municipalities and private distributors have undertaken. The team will do the work post this process of evaluation and approvals of tariffs to look at the efficiencies, the prudence issues around the cost. So those costs are actually reflective of that. And the other improvements, some of them that are more, I would say, cosmetic in nature, like the graphs being clearly readable. So from my side, I just want to put forth such comments and the fact that the justification of whatever figure that is chosen, if there's departure from the cost of supply, be enhanced accordingly to be able to stand on its own. There are other comments that have ensued in the past that I hope that the team, not actually hope, I expect the team to factor them in as was guided, and then ensure that whatever that we have can stand to any scrutiny. With those words, I don't have any comments further on this one, and I do support that we approve as recommended. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Thank you for summarizing that process, and hope the team has noted it. Members, the recommendations are on paragraph 9 on page 13. They have been read into the record. May I get by a show of hand to support the recommendations as read out into the record? Thank you, Ms. Masike. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. I also support the recommendations. And we then go to the next application, which will be the third one, as the second one has been withdrawn, which is Matlosana. We then move on to City of Mbombela. Ms. Nkopo, over to you.
Good morning, Chairperson, members and colleagues. City of Mbombela has applied for a percentage increase of 13%. The financial performance of the municipality has declined. This is due to the increase in energy losses and the interest paid to Eskom. The municipality has, however, highlighted causes of the energy losses and the remedies thereof, but no measures seem to have been put in place. This is evident from the energy losses that have gone up. Other issues that have been considered, that need to be considered, this is one of the municipalities that owe Eskom. And fortunately for this municipality, it had received some relief during the first cycle of its debt relief participation. But however, due to non-performance going forward, the municipality achieved a 76 average compliance with the MFMA Circular 124 conditions during April 25. As a result, the municipality is unlikely to qualify for further debt relief. With regards to the COS, the licensee has submitted its revised COS study and it was assessed to determine if it meets all the requirements of the approved COS framework. All the costs provided by the licensee have been verified against the latest audited financial statements. Furthermore, costs that were deemed inefficient were disallowed. The COS study recommends an average increase of 14.5% for the licensee to achieve full cost effectivity. The municipality is proposing 13% to increase its tariffs for the financial year 25-26. With regards to consultation, the licensee and NERSA have complied with the legislative requirements on public consultation processes and no comments were received from stakeholders. The recommendations read as follows, Chairperson. The Energy Regulator notes the cost of supply report submitted by the municipality. The Energy Regulator approves the tariffs that are based on the cost of supply as recommended in the tariff analysis section. And then the municipality should submit to NERSA a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification. All the cost information submitted by the municipality will be subject to an independent audit and may be clawed back upon verification of audited financial figures by the regulator. The municipality to develop and submit a plan outlining the repayment schedule on the outstanding ESCOM account to avoid further interest payments. And then the municipality should submit a smart report, energy losses report on a quarterly basis by 30 September to enable the regulator to monitor the energy losses. The outcome of the COS study will be subjected to efficiency tests, especially considering the concerns on inefficient expenditure and other operational inefficiencies. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Ms. Nkopo. Members, the presentation has been made before you. Any comments, issues of clarity or points of enhancement? I don't see any hand from the members, Ms. Nkopo, but I think the issue of the bulk account by the municipality, since you have said that they do not qualify for further relief, I think it's something that we would have to keep an eye on in terms of monitoring that. On that note, members, the recommendations have been read into the record. They are on page 29, paragraph 10. May I, by show of hand, get an indication that you support them as having been read into the record? Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. I do support. Thank you, Ms. Maseke. We then move on to the next application, and the next application is the City of Mbombela. It's yours again, Ms. Nkopo.
Sorry, Chairperson, I just presented the City of Mbombela.
The next one, Chairperson, is Dihlabeng.
Should be Dihlabeng. Yes, it should be Dihlabeng, Chairperson.
My system is moving very slowly. Over to you, Ms. Masike. If she's not available, Brian, can you assist us with this or guide us as to
No,
who can assist?
sorry, Chairperson. I struggled to unmute myself. For Dihlabeng, we have assessed the cost of supply study, and we just give me a second. Sorry. Can we move Dihlabeng to the next presentation, Chairperson? I'm sorry.
Okay.
Chairperson, you're on mute.
I beg your pardon. Sorry, we will move to the next application, which is the Sobotla. Ms. Mogadima, if you are ready, then we'll go back to you, Ms. Masike, after this one. Over to you, Ms. Mogadima.
Good morning, Chairperson, board members and colleagues. The Sabata municipality is situated in the northwest. The municipality is applying for an average increase of 10%. The financial and technical performance are not satisfactory, as indicated by deficit and high energy loss. The municipality will encourage to improve the high energy losses to improve their revenue. The licensee and NERSA have complied with the statutory requirements on public consultation process, and there were no comments received. The municipality chairperson, the one They are the part of the 14 municipalities that they owe ESCOM. The municipality owe ESCOM and is approved for National Treasury debt relief with effect from December 2023. The National Treasury, in collaboration with the Northwest Provincial Treasury, assessed the municipality's compliance with the debt relief condition, finding that it has sustainably met the 76% condition during the cycle of the program. The COS study recommends an average tariff increase of 15.5 for the licensee to achieve full cost reflective. However, the municipality is proposing 10% increase to review its tariffs for 25-26 financial year. Some of the consideration for this decision include ability to cover ESCOM bulk electricity cost and also to ensure affordability of customers. We therefore, Chairperson, recommend that the energy regulator knows the cost of supply submitted by the municipality that is subjected to audit and further verification for efficiency and prudency. The energy regulator approves the tariffs that are based on the cost of supply as recommended in the tariff analysis section for implementation by the municipality with effect from 1 July 2025. The municipality submit a report accounting for all costs that have been noted to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification or audit. All cost information submitted by municipality will be subjected to an independent audit and may be clawed back upon receipt and verification of audited financial figures by the regulator. The municipality is required to implement the plans set and submit a progress report to NERSA on a quarterly basis commencing from 30 September 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mogadima. Members, any questions, issues of clarity, or points of enhancements on this particular application? I do not see any hand. Members, the recommendations have been read into the record. Mr. Mkhize?
Yeah, again, it's a general one. I would like, I see that the basic charge is changing in line with the other variable charges as per the cost of supply study output. But I need the team, if the team can just please look at this whole issue of the fixed charges, the increases that are actually the same as for the energy, the cost of energy or variable cost. It's a matter, it's concerning, because I think there should be separate justification for that. And also, I think that with so many disruptions in the supply of electricity, there should be some kind of factoring those when it comes to these fixed charges even. Because if you've got a cable or whatever infrastructure that is there, and you pay for it a flat rate, it is actually useless if there is no flow of electrons through it, unless it is a blockage on your side as a customer. I think we should really look at that principle to be able to even then compensate customers where there is no flow of electrons and the infrastructure is sitting there. In other words, that infrastructure is as good as not being there. Then why then pay for it? It is something that I think the team needs to consider. As I said, it's a common issue that the team in the report back an update on actions taken with regard to these approvals. They will have to provide to the committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. But this chapter, I think we have indicated that there will be a list of those action items that the members have highlighted. So this is one of those that needs to be added to it, and we are looking forward to a response on the issues of the charges that are fixed and also variable, if you can include that onto that list. On that note, members, the recommendations have been read into the record, and the recommendations are on page 71. paragraph 9, may I, by show of hand, get an indication that you support the approval of the recommendation as read into the report? Thank you, Ms. Masike. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. I also support. We will then go back to the Tlhabeng. Ms. Masike, are you ready?
Thank you, Chairperson. The Tlhabeng is based in the Free State Province. The percentage surplus of the municipality has actually decreased into a deficit of 24.14%. The energy losses have increased from 20.14% to 23.27% in the 23-24 financial year, which is above the acceptable levels. The municipality has been requested to provide a breakdown between technical and non-technical so that we can assess what the issue really is. So this report is supposed to be submitted to NERSA on the 30th of September. With regards to the analysis of the cost of supply, the output there is that the municipality is supposed to increase the tariffs by 18.3%, but they have opted to increase the tariffs by 12.7% just to ensure that the services that are required, there is demand in terms of the services that are required by the municipality. Chairperson, in terms of the recommendations, we recommend that the tariffs that are based on the COS reports be approved as recommended in the analysis section for implementation by the municipality with effect from 1st of July. The municipality is supposed to submit the report accounting for all the costs that have been noted in the COS study to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification audit process, and the municipality to submit the audited financial report that reflects the impact of its costs of supply-based tariff on customers, as well as the licensee's sustainability of the local economy. Thank you, Chairperson. I'll stop there.
Thank you, Ms. Masike. Members, questions, points of enhancements that you may have on this particular application? I do not see any hand. On that note, the recommendations have been read into the record on paragraph 9 of page 66. May I get an indication that the members support the recommendations as presented? Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Thank you, Ms. Maseke. I also support the recommendations as read into the record. We'll then move on to the next application, which is Greater Letaba. Tate Modise.
Thank you once again, Chairperson. Greater Letaba is a small municipality located in Limpopo Province. Their application was endorsed by the council, and it was published by NERSA to solicit comment, and there were no comments received. When we look at their performance is improving as they are operated at the surplus and their energy losses are at a single digit, which is a good performance. And moving on to the result of the cost of supply. The result of cost of supply indicate that 13.9% is required to reach cost reflectivity. However, the municipality opted for a phasing approach, and some of the consideration to this decision include the licensee requirement to maintain a sustainable tariff levels. We recommend for the energy regulator to note the cost that the municipality submitted. We further recommend that the municipality submit a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted in its cost of supply study to enable the regulator to perform independent verification. And the municipality also must submit an audited financial report reflecting the impact of its cost-based tariff on customer as well as the licensee sustainability. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Tate Modise. Members, questions, issues of clarity or points of enhancements? noting that the team will take into account all the comments that have been made in other consideration of application. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Members, the recommendation on page 92, paragraph 8, by show of hand, do you support them as read into the record? Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Thank you, Ms. Museti. I also support. We move on to the next application, which is an application by Greater Taung. Ms. Sigwadi.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair, members and colleagues. Greater Taung municipality is applying for an average increase of 11.32% for the 25-26 financial year. The licensee and NESA have complied with the legislative requirements regarding public consultation processes, and that there were no comments received for this municipality. The licensee financial and technical performances is satisfactory, but the municipality need to ensure that the energy losses reduced to a single digit. The municipality does not owe ESCOM. The licensee submitted the cost of supply study, and it was assessed to ensure compliance with the approved COS framework, and all costs provided by the licensee have been verified against the deforms, trial balance, and audited financial statement. Furthermore, costs that were deemed inefficient were also disallowed. The COS study recommends an average tariff increase of 33.4 for the licensee to achieve full cost reflectivity. However, the municipality is proposing 11.32% increase to review its tariff for this financial year. The municipality cited maintaining a sustainable tariff level, ability to cover ESCOM bulk account, and customer affordability as some of the reasons to implement this lower increase. The recommendations are on page 105 and are read as follows. The energy regulator to note the cost of supply study submitted by the municipality. The energy regulator approved the tariff that are based on this cost of supply study for the implementation of 1st July 2025. The municipality to submit a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification. All the cost information submitted by the municipality will be subjected to an independent audit and may be clawed back upon receipt and verification of audited financial figures by the energy regulator, and also taking into account all recommendations, comments raised, and guidance from the members. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sigwadi. Members, questions, issues of clarity or points of enhancements that you may have on this particular application? I don't see any hand. The recommendation on 105 have been read into the record. Can I get an indication that members support or the approval of those recommendations on P105? Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Thank you, Ms. Museti. I also support. We move on to the next application, which is Garib and I think it's Ms. Mabinya. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Chairperson. Good morning, Chairperson, members and colleagues. Garib is situated in the Northern Cape. The municipality is operating at a deficit and high energy losses. The performance of the municipality should be monitored going forward, and as such, the municipality is encouraged to reduce its energy losses and improve its collection rate, which is currently at 64%. And then NERSA complied with the statutory requirements in terms of the public participation process, and no objections were received from stakeholders with regards to this municipality. The municipality has also undertaken its own public participation process. In terms of the cost of supply, the municipality submitted a new cost of supply, which was assessed against the framework, and the results suggest a 34.7% increase for the municipality to reach cost reflectivity. The municipality is applying for an average increase of 20.6%. The municipality is proposing structural changes for its domestic customers, and the municipality is proposing a 35% increase on average for its domestic customers and 23% for its industrial customer tariffs. And the reason given by the municipality is that they would like to align with the cost of supply findings. However, NESA's view is that the tariffs will have a substantial impact on customer and the broader affordability impact on customers. And as such, these tariffs for the municipality have been limited to a 14% increase in line with the cost of supply recommendation of a 14.2 phase-in approach as indicated in Figure 2. And this is to protect the customers and also for the municipality to improve its revenue. Instead of just increasing the tariff, it is recommended that they improve their energy losses as well as the collection rates, as well as try and reduce their total operating cost. And Chairperson, it is therefore recommended that the RSA notes the cost of supply submitted by the municipality, approve the tariffs that are based on the cost of supply as recommended in the tariff analysis for implementation on 1 July 2025, that the municipality must submit a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted for the energy regulator to perform its independent verification audit, and that all the costs submitted by the municipality will be subjected to an independent audit and may be brought back upon receipt and verification of audited information by NERSA, and that the munis must submit an energy losses report commencing on 30 September 2025 to allow NERSA to closely monitor the energy losses. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Ms. Mabinya. Members, and the presentation has been done to you. Any questions, issues of clarity or points of enhancements on this particular application? I do not see any hand. I also do not have any questions or issues of clarity on this particular application. By show of hand, members, can I get an indication that you approve the recommendation as read into the record, and by show of hand, please? Thank you, Ms. Maseti. I do support. Mr. Mkhize, thank you. We move on to the next application. It is King Sabata Dalindyebo Local Municipality. Ms. Leburu, kindly lead the committee on this application.
Thank you, Chairperson. Good morning, members and colleagues. King Sabata Dalindyebo Municipality in the Eastern Cape Province is applying for a 13.9% average increase. The application went through the required public consultation on both the side of municipality and NERSA. As a result, there were no comments received from stakeholders. The municipality's financial and technical performance needs improvement as it continues to decline with the deficit and energy losses on high levels. The municipality owes Eskom and incurs interest on outstanding bulk account and the penalties that are charged on NMD exceedances. The municipality is also expending heavily on the outsourced services, which increase the labor component costs. All the cost drivers in the cost of supply study were assessed and verified against the audited financial statements, and those costs that were deemed inefficient were disallowed. Based on the outcome of the cost of supply, the study reflects an overall average increase of 26% for the municipality to achieve full cost reflectivity. And while the cost of supply study outcome reflect that increase, the municipality adopted a 2-year phase-in approach, resulting in a 13.9% average increase to be implemented across all tariff categories. Some of the decisions to do that was driven by, amongst others, the consideration in the fact that significantly higher tariffs could negatively impact the licensee by reducing the demand from customers and sales, as well as the broader affordability impact on customers. The recommendations, Chairperson, are on page 28 of 794, and they read as follows: that the tariffs that are based on the cost of supply study be approved as recommended in the analysis for implementation effective the 1st of July 2025. The energy regulator to note the cost of supply report submitted by the municipality
and all the cost information submitted will be subjected to an independent audit and may be clawed back upon receipt and verification of audited financial figures by the regulator. The municipality is also required to submit a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification. The licensee will also be required to submit a SMART report on the reduction of the energy losses and how it is going to, and the plan on how it's going to improve on its revenue in terms of the 120 million that is lost due to the energy losses. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Ms. Leburu. Members, any questions, issues of clarity on this particular application? I don't have any from my side, and I don't see any hand from the members. Members, the recommendations have been read into the record. May I, by show of hand, get an indication that you support them as read out? Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. I do support. Thank you, Ms. Masike. We move on to the next application, which is Gogama. Ms. Matlou.
Okay. Good morning, Chairperson, members and colleagues. Gogama municipality is situated in the Eastern Cape and they are applying for 12.7 average increase in 25 and 26 financial year. The financial and technical performance are not satisfactory and as indicated by high percentage deficit and energy losses. The high percentage deficit is mainly due to the following: a 65% reduction in grant revenue as well as high energy losses. Total revenue decreased by 32% while total expenditure increased by 11%. 70% of the customers are supplied by Eskom and the rest are supplied by the municipality. And NERSA and the licensee has consulted on the application and there were no comments received from the stakeholders. With regards to the cost of supply study, the cost of supply study was received and assessed and the costs were verified through deform, trial balance and latest audited financial statements, and all the cost of supply steps are aligned. And the municipality says only have domestic customers and there are no industrial or commercial customers, and there are no structural changes with regards to the tariffs. And the recommendations are as follows. The energy regulator knows the cost of supply report submitted by the municipality. The tariffs that are based on cost of supply report be approved as recommended in the tariff analysis sheet for implementation by municipality with effect from 1 July 2025. All cost information submitted by the municipality will be subject to an independent audit and may be clawed back upon receipt and verification of audited financial figures. The municipality to submit a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification audit. The municipality is required to manage its expenditure to enhance surplus levels on electricity account, and the municipality is required to submit the report on the reduction of energy losses to NERSA by 30 September 2025. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Matlou. Members, questions, issues of clarity or points of enhancements, noting that the team has taken note of the previous input made to all the applications that have been brought to the committee. By show of hand, members, if any. I don't see any hand. On that note, can I get an indication by show of hand that members support the approval of this particular tariff application? Thank you, Ms. Masike. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. I do support as well. We then move on to the next one, which is an application by Lehuma Municipality. Ms. Nkopo, over to you.
Thank you, Chairperson. Lehuma Municipality is applying for an average increase of 11.32%. The municipality is facing challenges in managing its electricity supply and its financial sustainability. As a result, the challenges that have been encountered by the municipality are as follows. The high Eskom interest. As a result, the industrial customers are paying Eskom directly. This is due to the judgment in the High Court ruling that ensured that industrial customers pay the municipality's account to Eskom directly. Lehuma is also consistently exceeding its NMD As a result, Eskom is limiting the supply to the contracted NMD, resulting in power outages for the customers, leading to lower revenue recovery for the municipality. The municipality has an aged and deteriorating municipal electricity infrastructure, which is leading to high energy losses. However, plans have been put in place, and then we have seen, as a result, we have seen a reduction in the energy losses. Also, at least the financial performance has improved in 23-24 financial year, which is attributed to the low energy losses, and then the debt waiver received from Eskom for the interest on the outstanding account. However, the compliance of the debt relief conditions now is sitting at 76% as of April 2025 for the second cycle. As a result, due to non-compliance with the MFMA Circular 124 condition, the municipality risks qualifying for further debt relief on Eskom payments. Furthermore, Chairperson, the municipality previously purchased its electricity from Eskom on Night Save Rural Tariff, which was a more expensive tariff compared to the Mega Flex. Going forward, the municipality will be purchasing electricity from Unique Flex tariff based on the recently approved Eskom retail tariff plan, and this could assist the municipality in improving its financial position. And then with regards to the COS, Chairperson, the municipality has revised its COS study, and this was assessed to determine if it meets all the requirements of the approved COS. All the costs provided by the licensee have been verified against the latest audited financial statements. Furthermore, costs that were deemed inefficient were disallowed. The COS study recommends an average increase of 12.5%, but the municipality is proposing an 11.32% increase. The municipality has introduced time of use tariffs for the industrial customers, which will reduce the strain on the grid, and since customers will also be able to shift load. And this will reflect costs incurred in supplying electricity and promote price signals. The energy regulator will monitor and assess how the implementation of the new time of use tariff structure will impact on the industrial customers. With regards to consultation, the licensee and NERSA have complied with the legislative requirements on public consultation processes, and no comments were received from stakeholders. Recommendations are on page 172, Chairperson, and read as follows. The energy regulator notes the cost of supply report submitted by the municipality. The energy regulator approves the tariffs that are based on the cost of supply study. The municipality to submit a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification. All the cost information submitted by the municipality will be subject to an independent audit and may be clawed back upon verification of audited financial figures by the regulator. The municipality to develop and submit a plan outlining the repayment schedule on the outstanding Eskom account to avoid further interest payments. The municipality to submit a smart report on the energy losses that will be monitored by the regulator. The outcome of the COS study will be subject to efficiency test, especially considering the concerns on inefficient expenditure and other operational inefficiencies. All comments and guidance received from members will be taken into consideration, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nkopo. Members, questions, issues of clarity or points of enhancements on this application? I don't see any hand. On that note, members, the recommendations have been read into the record. May I, by show of hand, get an indication that you support them as read out? I do support Mr. Mkhize. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Thank you, Ms. Maseke. We'll then move on to the next application, which is Teemane. Ms. Mogadima. If she's not available, may I request that we move on to the next one?
Sorry, Chairperson. I was speaking to unmute mic.
You muted mic. Okay, yeah. Over to you. Proceed then, ma'am.
Teemane municipality is situated in the northwest. The municipality is applying for an average increase of 10%. The financial performance are satisfactory. as indicated by supplies. However, technical performance are not satisfactory because of higher energy loss. The municipality will be encouraged to improve their higher energy losses. The licensee and NERSA have complied with the statutory requirements on public consultation process, and there were no comments received. The COS studies recommends an average tariff increase of 10.3, and the municipality is proposing that 10% to review its tariffs for 25-26 financial year. Some of the consideration for this decision include ability to cover Eskom bulk electricity costs and to ensure customers' affordability. The municipality has indicated that they don't owe Eskom. We therefore, Chairperson, recommend that the energy regulator notes that recommends that the energy regulator knows the cost of supply submitted by the municipality that is subject to audit and further verification for efficiency and prudency. Cost of supply studies outcomes will be subjected to efficiency tests, especially considering the concern on efficiency, expenditure, and other operational inefficiency. The energy regulator approves the tariffs that are based on the cost of supply as recommended in the tariff analysis section for implementation by the municipality with effect from 1st July 2025. The municipality submits a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification audit. All cost information submitted by municipality will be subjected to an independent audit and may be clawed back upon receipt and verification of audited financial figures by the regulator. The municipality is required to implement the plan set and submit a progress report to NERSA on a quarterly basis commencing 30 September 2025. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Ms. Mogadima. Members, any comments, issues of enhancements that you may have? Noting that you have already given some of them in previous application. Any additional ones in terms of enhancements or points of clarity? I don't see any hand. On that note, may I then, by show of hand, get an indication that the members do support the recommendation as having been read into the record? Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Thank you, Ms. Maseke. I also support the approval of the recommendations as presented. We then proceed to the next one, which is Mokhopong and Modimolle, LIM 368. And Dr. Modise, over to you.
Thank you once again, Chairperson. LIM 368, it was formed by a match between Mokhopong and Modimolle. Their application is compliant to the legislative requirement because it was endorsed by the council and the application was published on NERSA website to solicit comment and no comment were received. Moving on to the performance, the licensee performance is not satisfactory as is indicated by high energy losses. However, on their deficit level are going down a little bit. The municipality submitted a corrective action plan and it was assessed and it was discovered that they didn't implement the measures as the energy losses are going up. And moving on to their they submitted a cost of supply study and it was assessed and it was found to be compliant to the framework. And the result of the study showed that 16.4% is required. However, in considering the sustainable tariff level as well as the ability to afford the bulk purchases, the municipality is applying for 14.58. We therefore recommend for the energy regulator to note the cost of supply report submitted by the distributor, the energy regulator to approve the tariff data based on cost of supply as recommended in the tariff analysis sheet for implementation effective 1st July 2025. The distributor to further submit a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted to enable the regulator to conduct independent verification. The distributor also to submit audited financial report that reflect the impact of cost of supply based tariff as well as the licensee sustainability and the local economy. And lastly, the municipality to submit a measurable, a smart plan on reducing the energy losses. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Mr. Modise. Members, comments, issues of clarity or points of enhancements on this application? By show of hand. I do not see a hand from any of the members. I don't have any from my side. Members, can we then indicate if we support the recommendation as having been read into the record? Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Also support. Thank you, Ms. Maseke. We move on to the next one, which is Madibeng Sigwadi.
Thank you.
Sigwadi, sorry, apologies. Ms. Sigwadi, yes.
Okay, thank you. Madibeng municipality is applying for an average increase of 8.5% for the 25-26 financial year. The licensee and NESA have complied with the legislative requirements regarding public consultation process, and there were 3 comments received from AutoCast, Renew Consulting, and PEC Utility Management. The comments were taken into account when processing this application, and other issues raised in the comments will be taken into consideration in the next financial year after NESA engagement with the municipality and relevant affected stakeholders. The comments and NESA analysis are detailed on page 221 to 222. The licensee financial performance is not satisfactory, even though energy losses are reducing. They are still high. The municipality also operated at a deficit, and the municipality indicated that the high deficit are due to the high energy losses, expenditure which has increased by 21%, and also the low collection rate, which is at 30%. If the municipality were to reduce its energy losses to 12%, it will realize a surplus of 3%, which is still very low. The municipality indicated that it owes ESCOM, but it's also approved for the National Treasury debt relief. The licensee submitted the cost of supply study, and it was assessed to ensure compliance with the approved COS framework. All costs provided by licensee have been verified against the DFOMS, trial balance, and audited financial statements. Furthermore, the costs that were deemed inefficient were also disallowed. The COS study recommends an average tariff increase of 32.7% for the licensee to achieve full cost reflectivity, and the municipality is proposing 8.5% increase to review its tariff for 25-26 financial year. The municipality started maintaining a sustainable tariff level, ability to cover ESCOM bulk account, and customer affordability as some of the reasons to implement the lower increases. The municipality is also utilizing the cost of supply study results to gradually achieve the cost of supply tariff. This approach involved imposing different tariff increases to progressively align with the actual cost of supply. The licensee is not proposing any structural changes or to its tariff. The recommendation are on page 225 and are read as follows. The energy regulator to note the cost of supply study submitted by the municipality, the energy regulator to approve the tariff that are based on the cost of supply for implementation effect from 1st July 2025. The municipality to submit a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted to enable the energy regulator to perform its independent verification. All cost information submitted by the municipality will be subject to an independent audit and may be clawed back upon receipt and verification with the audited financial figures by the energy regulator. The municipality is required to implement and monitor the plan set submitted to NESA and submit a progress report on the quarterly basis from 30 September 2025 regarding the energy losses, the high energy losses, and also taking into account all of the recommendations, comments raised, and guidance from the members. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sigwadi. Members, any questions, issues of clarity or points of enhancements? I think from my side, I have one. Maybe Ntadesi Chotlo, you can assist. Where we have received comments from the members of the public, do we get back to them and respond and inform them as to how we've dealt with their comments in considering the application? Because I've heard in the presentation that some of the comments will only be addressed they were taken into account, but some points will be addressed in the next financial process of tariff applications. Do we get back to the commentators and inform them as to how we have dealt with their comments? That is just my point of clarity. That is true.
Yeah, Chair, it depends a lot on the type of comments we're talking about. Some of the comments, for instance, when it just says that we won't be able to afford that, we do acknowledge that and then do inform them that we'll consider that. But in the likely where we've got comments that are of a technical nature, then we engage with those people and then maybe also them assisting us in dealing with those comments and how we can actually enhance the application. So it does depend on the kind of comments that we are receiving. Some of them, for instance, I think there was this guy that was, I can't remember his name. He was always at the MYPD presentations as a consultant. And he did comment on some of these, and we did also engage with him for that one, because it was actually assisting us from a technical point of view. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you for that response. I think it's important for us to also close that loop, that when we get comments, we also do give the feedback than to leave it without really getting back to the commentators, especially as you're saying on those comments that are material. Those that are not material, then we'll take it as having been responded to as part of the assessment of the application. Members, on that note, can we get an indication by show of hand that you support the recommendation as having been read into the record? Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. I also support. Thank you, Ms. Maseke. We move on to the next application. I think it's yours again, Ms. Sigwadi. It's Makwasi Hills. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Makwasi Hills municipality is applying for an average increase of 11.6% for the 25-26 financial year. The licensee and NESA have complied with the legislative requirements regarding public consultation process, and there were no comments received for this municipality. The licensee financial and technical performances is not satisfactory as indicated by the increase in deficit and energy losses. The municipality submitted the energy loss reduction plan, and NESA will continue to monitor the progress. The municipality indicated that it owes ESCOM, however, it is approved from the National Treasury Debt Relief Plan. The licensee submitted the cost of supply study, and it was assessed to ensure compliance with the COS framework, and all costs provided by licensee have also been verified against the forms, trial balance, and audited financial statement, and costs that were deemed inefficient were also disallowed. The COS study recommends an average tariff increase of 12.3% for the licensee to achieve full cost reflectivity, and the municipality is proposing 11.6% percentage increase to review its tariff. The municipality increased all basic charges by 4.4%. Hence the overall increase of 11.6, not 12.3, as recommended by the COS study. The municipality is also utilizing the cost of supply study results to gradually achieve the cost reflective tariff. This approach involves imposing different tariff increases to progressively align with the actual cost of supply. The licensee is not proposing any structural changes to its tariff. The recommendation are on page 240 and are read as follows. The energy regulator to note the cost of supply study submitted by the municipality. The energy regulator to approve tariffs that are based on the cost of supply with effect for implementation with effect from 1st July 2025. The municipality to submit a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted to enable the energy regulator to perform its independent verification. All cost information submitted by the municipality will be subjected to an independent audit and may be clawed back upon receipt and verification with the audited financial figures by the energy regulator, and also taking into account all the recommendation, comments raised, and guidance from the members. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sigwadi. Members, any questions, issues of clarity, or points of enhancements on this application? If not, can I, by a show of hand, get an indication that you support the recommendation as having been read into the record? Thank you, Mr. Mkhize, and I also support. Thank you, Ms. Maseke. We move on to the next one, which is the Mpumalanga Economic Growth Agency, MEGA. And Nthabiseng Mapitsing, over to you.
Thank you, Chairperson. MEGA is a private distributor located in Mpumalanga. Their application complied with all legislative requirements as it was published, and there were no comments received on this application. The performance of the licensee is not satisfactory at all, as it indicated by a deficit and high energy losses. In the engagement with the municipal, they indicated that what is unique about them is the fact that they are buying from City of Tshwane, not Eskom like other distributors. They are buying from City of Tshwane, and they are also paying a wheeling charge to Eskom. So they have submitted a cost of supply, which was assessed, and then the result of the cost of supply indicates that 54.7% is required to reach cost reflectivity. However, the distributor, in considering the phasing in approach over a 5-year period, they applied for 18.4%, and they also consider the ability to pay the bulk account as well as the sustainable tariff levels. The recommendation, we recommend for the cost to be, sorry, Chairperson, sorry about that. We recommend for the energy regulator to note the cost of supply report that the licensee submitted. The tariff data based on the COS report are approved as recommended in the analysis sheet section of the analysis sheet with effective from 1st July 2025. The municipality to submit a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted in the cost of supply to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification process. And the licensee will also required to submit a audited financial report that reflect the impact of the cost of supply based tariffs on customer, as well as the sustainability and the local economy. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Dr. Modise. Members, any questions, issues of clarity, or points of enhancements on this particular application? If there are none from the members, may I, by show of hand, get an indication that you support the approval of recommendations as read out into the record? By show of hand, members, please. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Thank you, Ms. Masete. I also support. The next one is a mid-val application. Ms. Mapitsing.
Good morning, Chairperson. Thank you. The Mid-Val municipality is situated in Gauteng province. The municipality is proposing an average increase of 12.7%. The financial and technical performance of the licensee is satisfactory as indicated by the surplus and reduction in energy losses. The municipality and NERSA have complied with the statutory requirements on public consultation process. NERSA received one comment from Renew Consulting. The comment and analysis thereof are detailed under Table 4, and the stakeholder was engaged on this matter. In terms of cost of supply, the municipality submitted a cost of supply 3, which was assessed to determine if it meets all the requirement of the cost of supply framework. NERSA worked closely with the licensee, and all costs provided by the licensee have been verified against the deformed trial balance and audited financial statement. Furthermore, costs that were deemed inefficient were also disallowed. The cost of supply study recommend an average tariff increase of 18.8 for the licensee to achieve full cost reflectivity. However, the municipality is proposing a 12.7 increase to review its tariff for 25-26 financial year. Some of the consideration, sorry, Chairperson. Some of the consideration for this decision include the licensee requirements to maintain a sustainable tariff level to stimulate demand and ability to cover Eskom bulk costs. In terms of recommendation rates as follows, the energy regulator knows the cost of supply submitted by the municipality. The energy regulator approved the tariff that are based on the cost of supply as recommended in the tariff analysis section for implementation by the municipality with effect from 1 July 2025. The municipality submits a report accounting for all costs that have been noted to enable the regulator to perform its independent and verification audit. All cost information submitted by the municipality will be subjected to an independent audit and may be clawed back upon receipt and verification of audited financial figures by the regulator. The municipality is required to implement and monitor the plan set and submit progress report to NERSA by the 30th of September 2025. All points of enhancement by members are noted. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Ms. Mapitsing. Members, any comments, issues of clarity in relation to this particular application? I don't see any hand. On that note, may I get an indication by show of hand that members support the recommendation as read into the record on mid-valve? Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. I do support Ms. Maseke. I don't see Ms. Maseke's hand. On that note, we do have a
Chairperson, I
majority.
support Chairperson. Support Chairperson.
Oh,
Chairperson,
yes,
Chairperson,
yes, Mr. Mkhize.
yeah, on page 264, there is a stakeholder comment there. I'm not so sure if the analysis is actually covering it as to what if that charge is in somewhere in these tariffs, but not explicit. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think I heard Ms. Mapitsing saying they engaged the stakeholder, but you can repeat that, Ms. Mapitsing, for Mr. Mkhize in terms of the question on page, I think the comment is on 264. You may guide if I'm wrong, but I see it on 264. You may come in, Ms. Mapitsing.
Thank you, Chairperson. Yes, we did engage the licensee. However, with regard to connection charges, the municipalities didn't apply. Most of the licensee are not submitting the connection charges to the regulator. However, we spoke to the stakeholder to say that going forward, we'll request all most of the municipality to start reflecting their connection charge or other charges on their application. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you. You covered, Mr. Mkhize?
No, I think the response must be enhanced to say that this charge is there, but it's not reflected explicitly, just to respond to what is being put forth as a comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Ms. Mapitsing, I hope you're noting that NESA analysis on page 64, if we can enhance that particular response in the manner that you have said it verbally. Thank you. Members, thanks. By show of hand, with that enhancement in terms of the comment from the stakeholder, can I get an indication that you support the recommendation as read into the record? Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Thank you, Ms. Maseke. I also support. We move on to the next application, which is from Mkondo. Ms. Kekana.
Thank you, Chairperson. Mkondo municipality is a small municipality in Mpumalanga. The municipality is operating at a deficit and high energy losses of 51%. The deficit is due to an increase in high energy losses and payments to consultant. There were no comments received and public participation was held by both municipality and NERSA for the COS. The municipality's COS is in line with the NERSA framework, and all costs deemed inefficient were disallowed. And the municipality is proposing a 13.5% increase, even though on the COS, the municipality, the average increase on the municipality is reflecting a 13.6% increase over a 3-year period. For sustainability and for customer affordability, it is recommended that the energy regulator note the cost of supply report submitted by the municipality and approve the tariffs that are based on the cost of supply as recommended in the tariff analysis section for implementation by the municipality with effect from July 2025. The municipality to submit a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted on the trial balance to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification and audit. The municipality and NERSA have complied with the statutory requirements on public consultation processes, and that there were no comments received. The municipality to submit an audited financial report that reflects the impact of its cost of supply-based tariffs on customers as well as on the licensee's sustainability and local economy. The date on which the report is to be submitted to be included in the correspondence to the municipality or licensee. The municipality is also, I forgot to mention that the municipality is proposing 2 new tariffs. Thank you, Chairperson.
Okay, thank you. On that new tariffs, I think notes the fact that we had indicated that all new tariffs introduced by a licensee be monitored. So the impact of those new licenses to the customers, they must submit a report relating to that. On that note, members, with those recommendations as having been read into the record, are there any questions or issues that you may have before we move on to the voting? None. On that note, can I get an indication you support the recommendation as read into the record? I do support Ms. Maseke, thank you, and Mr. Mkhize. We then move on to the next application, which is from Mogale City. Ms. Sigwadi, over to you.
Thank you. Mogale City is applying for an average increase of 9.1% for the 2025-26 financial year. The licensee and NESA have complied with the legislative requirements regarding public consultation processes, and there were no comments received for this.
Hold on, Ms. Sigwadi. Ms. Sigwadi, I see members' hands are up, Ms. Maseke and Mr. Mkhize. I take it that these are legacy hands. Okay, thank you, members. I thought you had some issues on the previous application. You may proceed, Ms. Sigwadi. Apologies for interrupting you. You may proceed.
Okay. The licensee financial and technical performances is satisfactory. This is indicated by the increase in surplus and reduction in energy losses. This municipality does not owe Eskom. The licensee submitted the cost of supply study, and it was assessed to ensure compliance with the approved COS framework. All costs provided by the licensees have been verified against the deforms, trial balance, and audited financial statements. Furthermore, costs that were deemed inefficient were also disallowed. The cost of supply study recommends an average tariff increase of 17.6% for the licensee to achieve full cost reflectivity. However, the municipality is proposing 9.1% increase to review its tariff for the financial year 25-26. The municipality reviewed some of the tariffs considering the COS results, and some of the tariffs are reducing. The municipality cited that maintaining a sustainable tariff level, ability to cover Eskom bulk account, and customer affordability as the reason to implement the lower increases. The municipality is also utilizing the cost of supply study results to gradually achieve the cost reflective tariff. This approach involving imposing different tariff increases to progressively align with the actual cost of supply. The licensee is not proposing any structural changes to its tariff. The recommendation are on page 308 and are read as follows. The energy regulator to note the cost of supply submitted by the municipality. The energy regulator approved the tariff that are based on the cost of supply as recommended in the tariff analysis section for implementation 1st July 2025. The municipality to submit a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted to enable the energy regulator to perform its independent verification. All the cost information submitted by the municipality will be subject to an independent audit and may be clawed back upon receipt and verification of audited financial statement by the energy regulator, and also taking into account all the recommendations, comments raised, and guidance for the members. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fadi. Members, any questions, issues of clarity of points of enhancements on this application for Mogale City? See any hand? I don't have any issues as well. On that note, members, can I get an indication that you support the recommendations as having been read into the record? Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. I do support Ms. Maseke. Thank you. We move on to the next application, which is an application from Modimolle. Ms. Makhubele.
Thank you, Chairperson, and good morning to everyone. This is an application from Modimolle Local Municipality, which is situated in Limpopo Province. It was approved by the Council and it was consulted by both NERSA and municipality for 30 days. From both NERSA and municipality, there is no comments received in relation to this application. The municipality is operating at a deficit of 21.57% in 2023-2024 financial year. However, in the financial year 2023-2024, the municipality appointed a service provider and 13 million was spent and resulted in the energy losses reducing from 18.46% to 10.73%. And they are within the NERSA expected efficiency level. And also the municipality indicated that they don't owe ESCOM. The municipality is proposing for 11.1% average increase for 2025-2026 financial year, which is the result of the COS study. The COS study follows the NERSA framework and utilizes the latest available audited data, which is based on the 2023-2024 financial year. To be fully cost reflective, the licensee's revenue requirements are 38.5 million for the 2025-26 financial year. This revenue requirement is predominantly ESCOM purchases, accounting for 68%, and operational expenditure accounting for 22%. It is therefore recommended that the energy regulator knows the cost of supply report submitted by the municipality, and also the tariffs that are based on the COS report be approved as recommended in the tariff analysis section for implementation by the municipality with effect from 1 July 2025. Also, the municipality to submit a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted in its COS study to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification and audit processes. And lastly, the municipality to submit an audited financial report that reflects the impact of its cost of supply-based tariffs on customers, as well as on the licensee's sustainability and local economy. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Members, any comments, issues of clarity in relation to Modimolle? If there are no issues in relation to this application, may I then, by show of hand, get an indication that the members support the recommendations as read into the record? Show of hand. Thank you, Mr. Mafeti. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. I also support. We then move on to the next one, which is an application from Motlhaka and Ralufhe.
Thank you, Chairperson, and good morning to everyone in the meeting. Motlhaka local municipality is in the Free State, sorry, with domestic customers of 94%, and it's giving 50 kilowatts units to 11,034 indigents. Customers. Motlhaka local municipality, Chairperson, when it comes to the financials, it is not doing that well, but it has slightly increased its deficit from 3.26 to 8.22 due to energy losses and somehow surge in operational expenses. When it comes to the tariff application process, NERSA and both municipalities have complied with the statutory requirements, and Motlhaka's COS outcome have reflected an average increase of 21.2%. However, Motlhaka, due to affordability and other economic factors that the municipality have considered in terms of its customers, it has applied for a tariff increase of 11.32, and we recommend that it be approved as is, as 11.32%, and these are the recommendations that are accompanying this application or analysis. And we recommend that the energy regulator notes the cost of supply report submitted by the municipality. And we also recommend that the tariffs that are based on the COS report be approved as recommended in the tariff analysis section for implementation by the municipality with effect from the 1st of July 2025. And we also recommend that the municipality submits a report accounting for all costs that have been noted on its cost of supply study to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification and audit process. And finally, we recommend that the municipality submit an audited financial report that reflects the impact of its cost of supply-based tariffs on customers, as well as on the licensee's sustainability and also on local economy. The date on which the report is to be submitted is included in the correspondence to the municipality or the licensee. I thank you, Chairperson. I submit.
Thank you, Dr. Ralufhe. Members, any questions, issues of clarity, or points of enhancements on this particular application from Parker? I do not see any hand, and on that note, with the comments that have been made in other applications, may I, by show of hand, get an indication that members do support the recommendations as read into the record? Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Thank you, Ms. Maseke. Also support. We then proceed to the next one, which is Msuka Ligwa. Ms. Nkopo.
Thank you, Chairperson. The municipality is applying for an average increase of 11.32%. The technical and financial performance of the municipality is not satisfactory, and this is evident from the increasing deficit and the increasing energy losses. The municipality had set out a plan to reduce these energy losses. However, the municipality did not put measures in place to reduce these high energy losses. This is evident from the increased energy losses from 60% to 63%. With regards to the COS study, the municipality's COS study was assessed to determine if it meets all the requirements of the approved COS framework. All the costs provided by the licensee have been verified against the latest audited financial statements. Furthermore, costs that were deemed inefficient were also disallowed. The COS reflects an average increase of 20.6%, but the municipality is applying for an average increase of 11.32% for the financial year 25-26. The licensee and NERSA have complied with the legislative requirements on public consultation processes, and no comments were received from stakeholders. The recommendations read as follows, Chairperson. The regulator notes the cost of supply the regulator notes the cost of supply report submitted by the municipality. The regulator approves the tariffs that are based on the cost of supply as recommended by the tariff analysis. The municipality to submit a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification. All the cost information submitted by the municipality will be subject to an independent audit and may be clawed back upon verification of audited financial figures by the regulator. The municipality to develop and submit a plan outlining the repayment schedule on the outstanding ESCOM account to avoid further interest payments, and to submit a smart report with regards to its energy losses so that the energy regulator can monitor the energy losses. The outcome of the cost of supply study will be subjected to efficiency test, especially considering the concerns on inefficient expenditure and other operational inefficiencies. Thank you, Chairperson.
Ms. Nkopo, members, any comments, points of enhancements, points of clarity that you may have? The losses for this municipality are extremely high. We do need to ensure that we monitor them, as well as the others. But for this one, they must provide the plan as recommended. On that note, members, can I get an indication that you support the recommendation as read into the record? By show of hand. Thank you, Ms. Maseke. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. I also support. We move on to Musina. Dr. Modise.
Thank you, Chairperson. Musina Municipality is located in Limpopo Province. The application is compliant with all the legislative requirements on public consultation, and there were no comments received on this application. Moving on to their performance, the municipality performance is dropping, as it's indicated by the surplus level that is decreasing and the energy losses that are increasing. The municipality will be encouraged to manage the losses at a single-digit level. And moving on to the cost of supply, the municipality did submit a cost of supply study, and it was assessed and found to be compliant with the framework. And the licensee is not proposing any structural changes. The result of the study showed that for the municipality to be cost reflective, 25% is required. However, the municipality is proposing a 3-year phase-in approach, and it's applying for 11.32 for the current financial year, taking into consideration the ability to pay bulk account and the sustainable level of the sustainable tariff levels. We therefore recommend for the regulator to note the cost of supply submitted by the municipality, the energy regulator to approve the tariff data based on cost of supply as recommended in the tariff analysis sheet section of this submission with effective 1st July 2025. And the municipality must submit a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification and audit. And the municipality and all the cost information must be submitted by the municipality will be subjected to independent audit and may be clawed back upon the receipt and the verification of the audited financial figures by the regulator. Thank you, Chairperson.
You, Ndadumdise. Members, any questions, issues of clarity on Mosina's application? By show of hand. I don't see any hand from the members. I take it that they are comfortable with or rather supportive of the recommendations. Can I get an indication that they do approve them as read into the record by show of hand, members? Thank you, Ms. Maseke. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Also support. We proceed to the next one is Newcastle. And Tate Shabalala.
Good morning, Chairperson, members, management, and fellow colleagues. Newcastle is a municipality which is situated in the KZN province. In terms of compliance, this application was published by both NERSA and the municipality for stakeholder comments, and none were received on NERSA's end. It should be noted, Chairperson, that this is one of the municipalities that were processed before we could implement the member guidance, such as indicating that the losses are acceptable. Please note, Chairperson, that this has been updated to include all the member comments since then. This municipality is doing well, and this is evidenced by a surplus in energy losses, which are low, sitting on 9.8%. And the tariff application is based on a new cost of supply study. This was analyzed and found to be in compliance with the NERSA's cost of supply framework. In terms of the study itself, the outcomes indicates that the licensee requires an increase of 20.4% to achieve full efficient cost reflectivity. However, this licensee applied for only 13%, and this was actually done after taking into consideration the operational needs for the sustainability of the licensee, this after a balancing act with customer affordability. As a result, this 13% that has been proposed is therefore recommended for approval as proposed. The recommendations are on page 390, Chairperson, and they read as follows. It is recommended that the members note the cost of supply study submitted by the municipality, that the tariffs be approved as recommended in the tariff analysis sheet for implementation on 1 July 2025. All cost information submitted by the municipality will be subject to an independent audit and may be clawed back upon receipt and verification of audited financial figures by the regulator, and that the municipality is to submit a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification audit. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Mr. Chabalala. Members, any questions, issues of clarity on this application? I don't see any hand. On that note, members, can I, by show of hand, get an indication that you support the recommendations as having been read into the record? Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Thank you, Ms. Maseke. I also support. We then move on to the next one, which is Nkandla municipality, and Tate Ramoholo, over to you.
Good morning, Chair, members, and fellow colleagues. Nkandla municipality is situated in the KwaZulu-Natal province, and the application was published on NERSA website and for stakeholder comments, and there were no inputs or comments received from the stakeholders. The financial and technical performance of the municipality is not satisfactory, as indicated by the high energy losses and deficit. The municipality submitted its cost of supply study for 2025 financial year, which was analyzed, and it complied with NERSA COS framework. The results of the study indicate that the licensee require an increase of 68.20 However, the licensee apply for 12.50 so that they can be able to also assist in terms of their affordability and also economic condition. And I recommend that the energy regulator knows the COS supply report submitted by the municipality that will be approved for implementation by the municipality with effect from the 1st of July 2025. The licensee submit a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification or audit. The municipality submit an audited financial report that reflects the impact of its cost-based tariff on customers, as well as on the licensee sustainability and local economy. The date of which the report is to be submitted is to be included in the correspondence to the municipality, and the licensee must submit a plan to cap high energy losses by 30 September. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Ntate Ramoholo. Members, any questions, issues of clarity on this particular application? By show of hand, please. I don't see any hand on that note. Can I then get an indication that you support the recommendation as read into the record? Thank you, Ms. Maseke. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. I also support. We move on to the next application, which is from Ngedwana. Ntate Ralufhe.
Thank you once more, Chairperson. Ngedwana municipality is found in Free State with 77% of its customers being domestic, and it's supplying 50 kilowatts to 2,294 indigent customers. Ngedwana has reflected an improvement in terms of its financials, and it's evidenced by a deficit of minus 6.58% from 88.29 in the previous financial year. And it has reduced its costs. And when it comes to the energy losses, they've dropped as well from 32.13 to 22.72%. This was due to an investment in repairs and maintenance of the fleet. Chairperson, the COS, before I get to the COS, on the tariff application, both NERSA and the municipality have complied with the statutory requirements that is entailed of them. And the outcomes of the COS have reflected an average increase of 17.2%. And that is what the municipality have applied for. However, this municipality's cost base, or rather revenue requirement, is highly composed of imprudent costs, which were eliminated, and the outcomes when it comes to the tariff increase got to 13.8%. And that's what we are recommending for approval, Chairperson. And I will accompany this analysis with the recommendations, which states that we recommend that the energy regulator notes the cost of supply submitted by the municipality. We also recommend that the tariffs that are based on the cost of supply report are approved as recommended in the tariff analysis section for implementation by the municipality with effect from the 1st of July 2025, and that the municipality submits a report accounting for all costs that have been noted in the cost of supply study to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification and audit process. And finally, that the municipality submit the audited financial statements, audited financial report that reflects the impact of its cost of supply tariff based on customers, as well as on the licensee sustainability, and also on the local economy. The date on which the report is to be submitted is included in the correspondence to the municipality or the licensee. I thank you, Chairperson. I submit. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Members, any questions, issues of clarity or points of enhancements on this application? If not, can I by show of hand that you support the recommendation as read into the record, please? Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Thank you, Ms. Maseti. Also support. We then move on to the next one, which is from application from Nkomazi Municipality. Ms. Kekana.
Thank you, Chairperson. Nkomazi Municipality is a small municipality in Mpumalanga. They are submitting a revised COS. The municipality is operating at a deficit of 24% due to the municipality's deficit decreased to 24% due to an increase in revenue from sales of electricity, and their energy losses have also decreased. The municipality submitted the COS. The COS is in line with the NERSA framework. All costs that were deemed inefficient were disallowed. There were no new tariff structures, and there were no comments received, and public participation was held by both the municipality and NERSA. So the municipality applied for a 15.2 average tariff increase. However, the COS reflected an average increase of 20.2. The reasons the municipality applied for a 15.2 over a 4-year phase-in period for customer affordability and will not implement the increase determined by the COS. It is recommended that the energy regulator note the cost of supply report submitted by the municipality and approve the tariffs that are based on the costs of supply as recommended in the tariff analysis section for implementation by the municipality with effect from 1st July 2025. Apologies. The municipality to submit a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted on the trial balance to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification audit. And for the municipality and NERSA, have complied with the statutory requirements on public consultation processes and that there were no comments received. The municipality to submit an audited financial report that reflects the impact of its cost of supply-based tariff on customers as well as on the licensee's sustainability and local economy. The date on which the report is to be submitted be included in the correspondence to the municipality or licensee. The municipality must submit to NERSA a report on specific measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound energy losses reduction plan that will ensure that the energy losses are reduced. I think the person.
Thank you, Ms. Kekana. Members, any questions, issues of clarity or points of announcements on this application? If not, may I, by show of hand, get an indication that you support the recommendation as read into the record? Thank you, Ms. Maseti. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. I also support. We move on to the next application, which is from Rustenburg Municipality. Ms. Mapitsing.
Thank you, Chairperson. Rustenburg Municipality is situated in Northwest Province. The municipality is proposing average increase of 11.9. The financial and technical performance of the licensee is satisfactory as indicated by the surplus and the energy losses. The licensee and NERSA have complied with the legislative requirements on public consultation process and that there were no comments received. In terms of the cost of supply, the municipality submitted a new cost of supply study as the old one expired. The study was assessed to determine if it meets all the requirements of the approved cost of supply framework. NERSA worked closely with the licensee and all costs provided by the licensee have been verified against the deformed trial balance and audited statement. Furthermore, costs that were deemed inefficient were also disallowed. The cost of supply study recommend an average tariff increase of 17.5 for the licensee to achieve full cost reflectivity. However, the municipality is proposing an 11.9 increase on review of its tariff for 25-26 financial year. Some of the consideration for this decision include the licensee requirement to maintain a sustainable tariff level to stimulate demand and ability to cover Eskom bulk electricity cost. When we go to the recommendation read as follows. The energy regulator notes the cost of supply submitted by the municipality. The energy regulator approved the tariff that are based on the cost of supply as recommended in the tariff analysis sheet for implementation by the municipality with effect from 1 July 2025. The municipality submits a report accounting for all costs that have been noted to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification and audit. All cost information submitted by the municipality will be subjected to an independent audit and may be clawed back upon receipt and verification of audited financial statement, financial figures by the regulator. The municipality is required to implement and monitor the plan set and submit a progress report to NERSA by 30 September, as we see that the energy losses are starting to increase. All points of enhancement by the members are noted. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Ms. Mapitsing. Members, any questions, issues of clarity or points of enhancements on this particular application? I don't see any hand on that note. Members, can I get an indication that you do support the recommendation as read into the record? Thank you, Ms. Maseti. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize, also support. We then move on to the next application, which is from Sasol. Over to you, Ndate Ramoholo.
Thank you, Chair, once again. Sasol, I'll be presenting two Sasol, but I'll start with Sasolburg. Is a private distributor which is situated in Sasolburg area, and the application was published in the NERSA website for stakeholder comments, and no comments were received from the stakeholder. And also, please note that the tariffs that are charged by Sasol are exactly the same as the ESCOM mega as per ESCOM tariff schedule. And Sasol costs to supply electricity direct costs of the ESCOM supply charges to Subcom, additional costs applicable. And Sasol financial and technical indicators are certificatory. Sasol submitted its cost supply for 25-26 financial year, and the study was assessed, and it is complied with COS, NERSA COS framework. And then the outcome of the study is that it recommends an average tariff increase of 10% for 25-26 financial year. And we recommend as follows that the energy regulator knows the cost of supply submitted by the licensee, and all tariff are approved as per recommendation in the analysis sheet for implementation effective from the 1st of July 2025. All costs submitted by the licensee will be subject to an independent audit and may be clawed back upon receipt and verification of audited financial figures by the regulator. The licensee to submit a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification or audit. I thank you.
Thank you, Ndate Ramoholo. Members, any questions, issues of clarity, or points of enhancements on this particular application by Sasol? I think specifically it's Sasolburg. Any questions? If not, the recommendations have been read into the record. Members, can I by show of hands get an indication that you do support them as read out? Thank you, Ms. Maseti. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. I do support. We move on to the next one, which is also by Sasol, but this one is for Sasol Synfuel. Over to you, Ndate Ramoholo.
Thank you once more. Sasol Secunda is one of the private distributor located in the Secunda area, and the application was also published for stakeholder comments, and comments were received from the stakeholders. The tariffs charged by the distributors are exactly the same as the Mega Flex tariff. And also the financial and technical indicators are certificatory. The municipality, the licensee submitted the cost of supply, which was evaluated, and it complied with the NESA COS framework, and it recommends, the study recommends an increase of 12.74, which is in line with approved ESCOM tariff increase. And I would like to conclude by recommending that the energy regulator knows the cost of supply submitted by the licensee. All tariffs are approved as per recommendation in the analysis sheet for the implementation effective from the 1st of April 2025, and all costs submitted by the licensee will be subject to an independent audit and may be clawed back upon receipt and verification of audited financial figures by the regulator, and the licensee to submit a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, and also noting the comments made in previous applications. Members, on that note, are there questions or issues of clarity in relation to this particular application? If you have any, please do raise your hand so that I can recognize you. I don't see any hand. On that note, members, can I get an indication that you support the approval of the recommendations as read into the record? By show of hand, please. Thank you, Ms. Maseke. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. And I also do support. We move on to Sunday's River. Ms. Matlou.
Good morning once more, Chairperson. Sunday's River is situated in the Eastern Cape. The municipality is applying for an average increase of 10.6 in 25-26 financial year. The financial and technical performance are not satisfactory as indicated by high percentage deficit and energy losses. The high deficit is mainly to reduction on other income and grant revenue that was reduced by 71.88%. The tariff application was consulted by both the licensee and NESA, and there were no comments received from the stakeholders. The cost of supply study was submitted and assessed. The costs were verified through the deformed trial balance and audited financial statement, and all the cost of supply steps aligned. The COS results indicates that for the municipality to reach cost reflectivity, they must increase their tariff by 44.1%. However, the municipality opted to increase their tariff by 10.6%, and there are no structural changes with regards to the tariffs, and the recommendations are as follows. The energy regulator knows the cost of supplies report submitted by the municipality. The tariffs that are based on COS report be approved and recommended in the tariff analysis for implementation by the municipality with effect from 1 July 2025. All cost information submitted by the municipality will be subject to an independent audit and may be clawed back upon receipt and verification of audited financial figures. The municipality to submit a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification audit. The municipality is required to manage its expenditure to enhance surplus level on electricity account. The municipality is required to submit the report on the reduction of energy losses to NESA by 30 September 2025. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Matlou. Members, any questions, issues of clarity on this application? By show of hand, please. I don't see any hand. On that note, may I get an indication that you support the recommendations as read into the record? Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. I do support. Thank you, Ms. Maseke. The application is, the recommendation on the applications are approved as read into the record. We move on to the next one, which is Tokoloho. Ms. Maseke.
Thank you, Chairperson. With Tokoloho is actually based in the Free State province. the indicators show that the surplus has deteriorated or maybe increased from 46.68 to 14.4, and the energy losses have also decreased from 12.31 to increased from 12.31 to 13.32. The municipality is not doing well. When we analyzed their cost of supply, it indicated, the results indicated that the actual cost for bulk purchases is 36%, and the proposed increase of 26% is mainly dedicated to other costs. So we with regards to the increases that has been proposed of 26%, we have limited it to 11.32% because we cannot be asking paying customers to be paying for 26% when so the with regards to the recommendations, we are asking the regulator to note we are asking the regulator to, sorry, Chairperson, my computer is freezing. Sorry.
And can you come in and assist quickly?
Sorry, no, I'm fine. The recommendations are that we are asking the regulator to note the COS that has been submitted and the tariffs that have been analyzed in terms of the COS that has been received. And we are also saying that the municipality to submit the report accounting for the costs that have been noted in the COS to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification. And also the municipality must submit the audited financial reports and that reflect the impact of the COS and the COS as well as the licenses sustainability for local economic. And thank you, Chairperson. I'll stop there.
Thank you, Ms. Masike. Members, any comments, issues of clarity, or points of enhancements on this application? A show of hand. I don't see any hand from the members. On that note, members, can I get an indication that you support the application as, or rather the recommendation as read into the record? Thank you, Ms. Maseke. I also support. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. We move on to the next application, which is 12 Bailey. Ms. Tanda, please just 2 minutes or a minute or so. We are behind schedule now. Over to you, ma'am.
Good morning, Chairperson, members and colleagues. 12 Bailey located in the Free State Province. The municipality confirmed that the customers were consulted about regarding the tariff increase application, and the application was also approved by the municipality council. NERSA also published the tariff increase, and no comment were received. The municipality electricity department financial performance is not satisfactory as they operate at the deficit. However, their energy loss is within the NERSA acceptable level. Municipality submitted their COS in the 24-25 tariff cycle. The current year, they just submitted their cost COS adjustment, and they are applying for 12.5% across all their customer category. I therefore recommend that the energy regulator note the cost adjustment submitted by the municipality. The tariff that are based on a cost adjustment be approved as recommended in the tariff analysis section for implementation by the municipality with effect from 1st of July 2025, and that the municipality must submit the report accounting for all the costs that have been noted in their cost of supply study to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification process. The municipality to submit an audited financial report that reflect the impact of its cost of supply-based tariff on customers as well as the licensees' sustainability and local economy. Taking into account the members' comment and guidance, I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Ms. Tanda. Members, any questions, issues of clarity? Ms. Masike, if you can try and mute yourself, please, I'll appreciate it. Comments, members, questions, issues of clarity or points of enhancements on this particular application from Tswelopele, yes. I don't see any hand. On that note, members, can I get an indication that you support the application as, or rather the recommendations as read into the report? Thank you, Ms. Masetti. Thank you, Mr. Mkiza. I also support. We move on to the next one, which is Umngeni. Over to you, Dr. Ramahulu.
Thank you, Chair. Umngeni is situated in KwaZulu-Natal province, and the municipality NESA application was published for stakeholder comments, and no comments were received from the stakeholders. The municipality financial and technical performance, they are not certificatory. The municipality submitted its cost of supply for 25-26 financial year. The studies complied with the NESA, and the results of the study indicate an increase of 13.30 for 25 to reach cost reflect. But the license applied for the lower average tariff increase of 12.70 for this 25-26 financial year. And the recommendations are as follows. The energy regulator knows the cost of supply report submitted by the municipality. The tariff will be approved for implementation by the municipality as per analysis sheet with effect from 1st of July 2025. The licensee submits a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification or audit. They must be submit audited financial report that reflect the impact of its cost-based tariff on customers as well as the licensing, sustainability, and local economy. The date in which the report is to be submitted to be included in the correspondence to the municipality. The licensee must also submit a plan and a report to cover energy losses by 30 September. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Ramahulu. Members, any questions, issues of clarity on the application from Umngeni? If not, can I, by show of hand, get an indication that you do support the recommendations as read into the record? Thank you, Ms. Masetti. Thank you, Mr. Mkize. I do support. We move on to the next one. Umuzi Bantu, Ms. Matlou.
Thank you, Chairperson. Good morning to you, members and colleagues. Umuzi Bantu is a fairly small municipality that's situated in the KZN province. The municipality is running at a deficit of 9.37%. This is mainly due to the reduction in the INEP grant allocation that was reduced, or that was cut off in financial year 2023-24, as well as increases in its finance costs. The energy losses for this municipality are sitting at 10.97%. This is a slight increase from the previous record of 9.79%. The municipality needs to put measures in place to ensure that energy losses are contained at single-digit levels. In terms of the stakeholder consultation, NERSA complied with its statutory requirements for public consultation. The tariff application was published on the website and other social media platforms, and there were no comments that we received for this particular municipality. The municipality conducted a cost of supply study, which was assessed and found to be compliant with all the 5 steps of the COS framework. The outcome of the study reflect an average tariff increase of 54.9%. In order for the municipality to achieve a full cost reflectivity. The municipality has, however, adopted a phased-in approach, and they are applying for an average increase of 11.7%. This is mainly, the reason for the 11.7% is mainly due to the municipality's requirement to maintain sustainable tariff level to drive demand for its electricity services. The proposed tariff schedule are presented under Table 5. That's on the understamped page 550 of 689 of the submission document. And having taken into account all the other points of enhancement that were provided by members, I recommend as follows, Chair, that the energy regulator notes the cost of supply report submitted by the municipality, that the tariffs that are based on the cost of supply report be approved as recommended for implementation 1st of July 2025, that all cost information submitted by the municipality will be subjected to an independent audit and may be clawed back upon receipt and verification of audited financial figures by the regulator. And lastly, that the municipality must submit a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted. And this is to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification audit. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Matlou. Members, there's the application on Umzi Wabantu. Any comments, issues with clarity? Points of enhancements, if any? I don't see any hand. On that note, members, with the guidance that have been provided in other applications that may be applicable here, and the team will have to consider them. Can I, by show of hand, get any indication that you support the recommendation as read into the record? Thank you, Ms. Masike. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. I also support. We then move on to the next one, which is Ukongolo. I'm not too sure who is assisting us.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Over to you.
Yeah,
2
Ukongolo,
minutes.
it's situated in the KwaZulu-Natal province, and the application was published for stakeholder comments, and we didn't receive any comments from the stakeholders. The licensee submitted its COS study for 25-26 financial year, which was analyzed, and it was compliant with the NERSA's framework. And then the COS indicated an increase of 20.50 for the municipality to achieve cost reflectivity. And I can also raise the point that the municipality wanted to apply for, initially apply 50, which upon our discussion, we agreed that 15% will be appropriate increase, which gonna cushion the consumer against the higher increase, and then we work on 15% increase. And also, lastly, I would like to recommend the following: to say the energy regulator knows the cost of supply report submitted by the municipality. Tariff must be approved as recommended in the tariff analysis sheet for implementation on effective from the 1st of July 2025. The licensee must enhance its strategy to curb its high energy losses to be sustainable, and all costs submitted by the municipality will be subject to independent audit and may be clawed back upon receipt and verification of audited and financial figure by the regulator. The municipality is required to submit a report accounting for all the costs that has been noted to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification or audit. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Ramohulu. Members, any questions, issues of clarity on this application by Upongole? Ms. Maseti?
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, just to put it on record as these proceedings, stakeholders follow them and they write things regarding the issues of cost of supply and some making allegations of them being unlawful and all of that. So I do want to put it on record that as we are going to take a decision in this committee, the last speaker that said that they have not agreed on behalf of the energy regulator with the licensee that they must apply for 15%. So I just want to clarify that on record. It would not be proper, and it's not something that we are bound by for us to take today's decision, just to make that clarification. So it is not for any of the team members to agree with the municipality, especially because he did not even touch on the what you call the effects and the impact of the 15% on customers, because that 15% is not an increase that is insignificant. So I just wanted to clarify that part. So we are independent and we will apply our mind as we're about to take the decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Maseti. That is noted. And Dr. Ramohulu, please note that or correction made by Ms. Maseti. On that note, members with the that correction, can I get an indication you support the recommendations as read into the record by show of hand? Thank you, Ms. Maseti. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Also support. We then move on to the next application, which is from Mhlathuze and Tate Chabalala.
Good morning once again, CEO. I'll try to stick to your 2 minutes. However, in terms of the member guidance earlier to elaborate on some of the comments received, I might actually exhaust the entire 2 minutes. Apologies upfront if I do end up taking a bit more than 2 minutes. Mhlathuze Chairperson is situated in the KZN province, and in terms of compliance, this application was published by both NERSA and the municipality for stakeholder comments, and we only received one comment from PEC. Although the stakeholder comments were included as part of the annexure, they were actually not included as part of the tariff analysis specifically from Mhlathuze. So that has actually then been updated. Just to summarize the issue that was raised by the stakeholder Chairperson, the stakeholder is requesting that a tariff called complex, which is a tenant tariff, be increased by a larger percentage to accommodate previous error, or what they deemed to be an error previously, wherein this tariff was decreased while the bulk tariffs were increasing. So this has resulted in landlords currently selling electricity at a loss. So this is the current allegation, Chairperson. So in terms of the responses by the licensee, they did indicate that as part of this process, this was brought to their attention, and that they interrogated many electricity tariffs this year and decided to start off by prioritizing the bulk tariffs for this financial year. Although they had actually scrutinized other smaller tariffs, they decided to phase in some of the implemented changes. So the other changes will be coming in 26-27. However, in addressing the issues around bulk tariffs, the hope or the intention was to address the issue that was raised by the stakeholder. That's how that was dealt with, Chairperson. Or lastly, the other issue is that public participation was not held for such changes. So it would be unfair, or it would be contrary to the process. Chairperson, this municipality is doing well, and this can be evidenced by a surplus in energy losses that are sitting around 7.53%. The application, which is based on a cost of supply that was noted last year, and we found it to be in compliance with the framework, submitted this year, the municipality submitted its cost data as required, and this determined that the licensee requires a 16.16% increase to reach cost reflectivity. However, this licensee is applying for an average of 11.8% increase, and this was done after taking into consideration the operational needs for the sustainability of the licensee, which is balanced then with the customer affordability. Chairperson, the recommendations are on page 579, and they read as follows. It is recommended that the members note the cost of supply study submitted by the municipality in the previous financial year. The tariffs be approved as recommended in the tariff analysis sheet for implementation on 1 July 2025. All cost information submitted by the municipality will be subject to an independent audit and may be clawed back upon receipt and verification of audited financial figures by the regulator, and that the municipalities to submit a report accounting for all costs that have been noted to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification audit. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Tate Shabalala. Members, any questions, issues of clarity on this particular application by show of hand? I don't see any hand. Members, on that note, with the recommendations having been read into the record, can I get an indication that you support them, the approval of those recommendations? Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. I do support as well. Thank you, Ms. Maseti. We then move on to the next application, which is an application from City Power. Ms. Mapitsing.
Thank you, Chairperson. City Power is situated in the Gauteng province. The licensee is proposing an average increase of 12.41%. The licensee tariff application is based on the existing cost of supply study. The financial and technical performance of the licensee is not satisfactory, as indicated by the deficit and the increasing energy losses. The licensee and NERSA have complied with the statutory requirements on public consultation process. NERSA received one comment from Renew Consulting, and the comment and analysis thereof is detailed under Table 4. However, even though we received one, but on different platform that did not come to NERSA, there were one other comment regarding the basic charge of 200 Rand, saying that the licensee is increasing it by 70 Rand. However, the licensee maintained that 200 Rand, the fixed charge to that 200 Rand. It did not increase it. Coming to the other issues that, Chairperson, the licensee is introducing a wheeling tariff. The licensee application is based on that 12.41% based on its budgeted cost from its cost of supply. Recommendation read as follows. The energy regulator notes the cost drivers submitted by the licensee. The tariff that are based on the cost drivers be approved as recommended in the above analysis, in the analysis sheet for implementation by the municipality with effect from 1 July 2025. All cost information submitted by the licensee will be subjected to an independent audit and may be clawed back upon receipt and verification of audited financial figures by the regulator. And the licensee submitted a report accounting for all costs that have been noted to enable the regulator to perform its verification audit. The last recommendation, Chairperson, is that the licensee is required to implement and monitor the plan, set and submit a progress report to NERSA on a quarterly basis, starting from 30 September 2025. Thank you, Chairperson. All other enhancements are noted, Chairperson. Sorry for that.
Thank you, Ms. Mapitsing. Members, any questions, issues of clarity or points of enhancements on this particular application? Yes, Ms. Maseti.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, I think for the record, Ms. Mapitsing must be able to inform this committee about the nature of the comments received from Renew Consulting. It was quite a detailed submission, and it also contains certain proposals on the municipalities that this company has made comments on. It is not just this one, but also the other ones. and the comments are quite detailed, and there are also some evidence there, even calculations that were demonstrated to show the effect, and they've made certain proposals. So it is important that such comments that relate to this one are put on record and for the members to understand them, and to the extent that they are not accommodated or they are already been addressed somewhat, it is important that they be stated on record. That's what I would request, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you for that input. Don't see any other hands. Ms. Mapitsing, do you want to briefly put those comments on record and also give an indication as to whether those comments have been factored into the application or not? Over to you, Ms.
Oh, Chairperson, the other, I think we only did one. The other one will follow in due course.
I'm not sure if you understand.
The other comment was more generic. We'll analyze it and submit it by the 20th, Chairperson.
No, so, Chairperson, through you. Okay. I've already guided, and I read myself the Renew consulting comments as I'm actually indicating to you how detailed they are, the proposals that are contained, and what issues they are raising. So I'm saying, as part of the record, if she is not ready, we will not take a decision. We will not take a decision because it will be challenged. There is no way that we cannot consider the comments, and I would not understand then the managers why they would not make sure that it was considered, as I have already indicated in each of these submissions, and I've made comments and returned them to them. We can't take a decision without considering that particular comment.
Thank you for that input. I think that this is total that the Matibula, I think we did take a decision that we need to have a highlight of comments that were received, and also in the presentation for you to assist the team to ensure that they do highlight as to how those comments have been dealt with. And I think this morning I've also given or rather raised an issue to say that we give feedback to the commentators as to how we've dealt with their comments. I think that is important to close up the loop. I think on this one, if we haven't considered all the application, may I request that we withdraw it and bring it at the next meeting, covering all the comments that needs to be covered. Ms. Mapitsing, because I heard you trying to say you covered part of it and other parts were not covered. But let me take Mr. Mkize's hand first. But managers, please just think of that. I think we may have to withdraw this application to have all comments taken into account. Mr. Mkize?
Chairperson,
they need just to respond directly to the comments. If something is still pending, they at least they must respond in the here and now, and then say they are going to look at some of the things going forward. But we shouldn't be responding in a manner that does not address the comments head on. I'll leave it at that. I support the withdrawal. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Mapitsing and managers, Mr. Matlou and Catherine Sichota, we are withdrawing this particular application. As indicated, there are comprehensive comments made. Let's just be direct in terms of responding to them, and let's consider this application at the next sitting of our meeting. On that note, members, can I, by show of hand, get an indication that you support that? I think Ms. Masike, we were supporting your proposal, and Mr. Mkize, the City Power application is withdrawn. Thank you, members. We then move on to the next application from Itala, Tate Ezakeni. Tate Chabalala.
Thank you, Chairperson. Itala Development Finance is a private corporation found in KwaZulu-Natal, and it supplies to 3 areas, mainly Isithebe, Ezakeni, and Matateni. So Isithebe has its own set of tariffs, while Ezakeni and Matateni share the same set of tariffs, but they share different financial information. I will firstly be taking you, so there are 3 applications, Chairperson, all in sequence. I will firstly be taking you through Ezakheni. The second submission in error is also written as Ezakheni, but it's supposed to be Isithebe. And then the last one I'll be taking you through is Matateni. That error will be fixed, Chairperson. We'll remove the name Ezakheni to have it reflect Isitala correctly. In terms of compliance, the Ezakheni application was published by both NERSA and the municipality for stakeholder comments, and none were received for this one. The licensee is doing well for Ezakheni. This can be evidenced by a surplus and energy losses that are sitting on around 3.3%. This application is based on a legacy cost of supply, which was analyzed and found to be in compliance with NERSA's framework in the previous financial year. In order to determine an increase for the 25-26 financial year, the licensee submitted its cost data, which then reflected that the licensee needed 13.07% to reach cost reflectivity, while this licensee is actually applying for 12.74%, which is very closely aligned. Considering that the licensee is performing well, the proposed 12.7% increase is therefore recommended for approval as proposed. The recommendations are on page 606, Chairperson, and they read as follows. It is recommended that the tariffs be approved as recommended in the tariff analysis sheet for implementation on 1 April 2025. All cost information submitted by the municipality be subject to an independent audit by the licensee will be subject to an independent audit and may be clawed back upon receipt and verification of audited financial figures by the regulator and the municipality to submit a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification audit. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Dade Shabalala. I heard you saying municipalities. That's not a private distributor?
Yes, I tried to take that back, Chairperson. I said licensee. Thank you.
All right, no, thanks. That's noted. Members, any questions, issues of clarity on this application? It's Itala Ezakheni. By show of hand, if there are no inputs from members, can I, Ms. Masike, can I, by show of hand, get an indication members support the recommendations as read into the record? Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Thank you, Ms. Masike. Also support. We move on to Itala Isithebe as corrected. Over to you, Dr. Shabalala.
Thank you, Chairperson. As I had already indicated, the sequence that I would be presenting on, I'm on Isithebe now. In terms of compliance, Isithebe application was published by both NERSA and the licensee for stakeholder comments, and none were received by NERSA. Isithebe is also doing well, and this can be evidenced by a surplus and energy losses, which are sitting on 3.2% for the 23-24 financial year. This application is also based on a legacy cost of supply, which was analyzed and found to be in compliance in the previous financial year. So in terms of the 25-26 tariff application, this was supported by the licensee's cost data, which reflected that the licensee requires a 13.07% increase to reach cost reflectivity, and it's also applying for 12.74%. Considering once again, Chairperson, that this licensee is performing well, the proposed 12.74% increase is therefore recommended for approval as proposed. The recommendations are on page 613 and read as follows. It is recommended that the tariffs be approved as recommended in the tariff analysis sheet for implementation on 1 April 2025. All cost information submitted by the licensee will be subject to an independent audit and may be clawed back upon receipt and verification of audited financial figures by the regulator, and the licensee to submit a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification audit. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Dr. Shabalala. Members, any questions, issues of clarity on this particular application, if any? I don't see any hand. On that note, members, may I, by show of hand, get an indication that you support the recommendations as read into the record? Thank you, Ms. Masike. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. We move on to Itala Madadeni, Dr. Shabalala.
Thank you, Chairperson. In terms of compliance, the Madadeni application was also published by both NERSA and the licensee for stakeholder comments. None were received by NERSA. Madadeni has a deficit, but the energy losses are low, sitting at 5.5%. However, looking at the estate consolidated, it is still doing well at a consolidated level. This application is based on a legacy cost of supply, which was analyzed in the previous financial year and found to be in compliance with the NERSA's cost of supply framework. In order to determine the increase for the 25-26 financial year, the licensee submitted its cost data, which then reflected that the licensee required a 13.07% increase to reach cost reflectivity. However, the licensee is applying for an average of 12.74%, which is still closely aligned to the outcomes of the cost data. Considering that at consolidated level, the estate is doing well, the proposed 12.74% increase is recommended for approval as proposed. The recommendations are on page 621 and they read as follows, Chairperson. It is recommended that tariffs be approved as recommended in the tariff analysis sheet for implementation on 1 April 2025. All cost information submitted by the licensee will be subject to an independent audit and may be clawed back upon receipt and verification of audited financial figures by the regulator. And lastly, that the licensee is to submit a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification audit. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Dr. Chabalala. Members, any questions, issues, or points of clarity on telemadading? I don't see any hand on that note. Members, the recommendations have been read into the record. Can I get an indication that you support them as read out? Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Thank you, Ms. Masike. I also support. We move on to JB Max. Mr. Sigwadi.
Thank you. JB Max tariff application is based on the existing cost of supply study submitted last year. The licensee and NESA have complied with the legislative requirements regarding public consultation process and that there were no comments received for this municipality. The licensee financial and technical performances is satisfactory as the municipality operated at a surplus level of 13.99% and the energy losses are at 12%. The cost of surplus study submitted last year was analyzed and it complies with the approved COS framework. The study recommends an average tariff increase of 28.7% for the licensee to achieve full cost reflectivity. But the last year, the municipality implemented 13% and is proposing the 12.90 increase for 25-26 financial year based on its budgeted cost from its submitted cost of supply. Recommendation are on page 634 and they are read as follows. The energy regulator to note the cost drivers submitted by the municipality. Tariff that are the energy regulator to approve the tariff that are based on cost drivers as recommended on the above analysis and with implementation effect from 1st July 2025. And then all costs submitted by the municipality will be subject to an independent audit and may be clawed back upon receipt and verification of with the audited financial figures by the energy regulator. The municipality to submit a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted to enable the energy regulator to perform its independent verification audit. And also taking into account all the recommendations, comments raised, and guidance from the members. Thank you.
Mr. Sigwadi. Members, any questions, issues of clarity, or points of enhancements on this particular application? I don't see any hand on that note. Can I get an indication that members do support the recommendations as read into the record? Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Thank you, Ms. Maseke. I also support. We then move on to Garib. Ms. Mabinya.
Thank you, Chairperson. Garib is based in the Northern Cape and its application is based on an existing cost of supply. The municipality is operating at a deficit and high energy losses. The performance of the municipality should be monitored going forward, and as such, the municipality is encouraged to put measures in place to reduce its energy losses, as well as measures to improve its financial position. In terms of stakeholder comments, NERSA has complied with the statutory requirements regarding the public participation process and no objections were received. The municipality has also undertaken its own public participation process. The municipality's cost of supply results are reflected an average increase of 27.1% to reach cost reflectivity, and the municipality adopted a phase-in approach to implement these results for the 2025-26 financial year. As such, the municipality is applying for an increase of 11.72 based on the budgeted cost to escalate the cost of supply, which will maintain and sustain the municipality and also considers the affordability of its customers. Chairperson, then it is recommended that the cost drivers submitted by the municipality be noted by the REC, that the tariffs that are based on the cost drivers be approved as recommended for implementation by the municipality on 1 July 2025, and that all cost information submitted by the municipality will be subjected to an independent audit and may be clawed back upon receipt and verification of audited financial figures by the energy regulator, and that the municipality must submit a report accounting for all the costs that have been noted to allow the regulator to perform its independent verification audit, and that the municipality must submit a report to reduce energy losses by September 2025 to allow the energy regulator to closely monitor the energy losses. I thank you, Chairperson.
Ms. Janse van Vuren, please.
Sorry, I was talking to a muted mic. Apologies. Members, I just wanted to check if you have any questions, issues of clarity or points of enhancements on this particular application by Garib. If not, by show of hand, can I get an indication that you support the approval of the recommendations as read into the record? Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Thank you, Ms. Masike. I also support. We move on to Lesedi's application, Lesedi Municipality's application. Zwanga Ralufhe.
Thank you once more, Chairperson. Lesedi local municipality is found in the Gauteng province, and it have 97% of its customers domestic, and it's giving 50 kilowatts units to 5,707 indigents, and the financial performance is satisfactory despite in getting down, and this is witnessed by a deteriorating surplus from 12.1% in the previous financial year to 6.3% in the financial year under review. So even the energy losses have slightly increased from 17.6 to 28.37%. So that is the financial standing of the municipality. When it comes to the tariff application, both NERSA and the municipality have adhered to the statutory requirements when it comes to consultation, and the application by Lesedi local municipality have reflected, or rather has requested, a 14% increase. However, the cost adjustment have reflected 15.3%, but which was predominantly, or rather which was dominated by a lot of imprudent costs and inefficiencies. After NERSA have done its adjustment, and then it resulted to 12.51%, which is what we recommend for the percentage for the tariff increase. And I will accompany this application or analysis by the recommendations which are on page 11 of 12, that reads as the energy regulator. It is recommended that the energy regulator knows the cost adjustment submitted by the municipality, and the tariffs that are based on the cost adjustment be approved as recommended in the above tariff analysis section for implementation by the municipality with effect from the 1st of July 2025. And the municipality to submit a report accounting for all costs that have been noted in its cost of supply study to enable the energy regulator to perform its independent verification or audit process. And finally, the municipality must submit audited financial report that reflects the impact of its cost of supply-based tariffs on customers, as well as on the licensee sustainability and also on local economy. The date on which the report is to be submitted be included in the correspondence to the municipality or the licensee. I table, Chairperson, I submit. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ralufhe. Members, any questions, issues of clarity on this application? If you have any, please do raise your hand. I don't see any hand. Members, the recommendations have been read into the record. Can I get an indication that you support them as read out into our record? Thank you, Ms. Maseti. I do support. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. We move on to the next one. Merafong. Ms. Mogadima, over to you.
Thank you, Chairperson. Merafong Municipality tariff application is based on the existing cost of supply study. The licensee and NERSA have complied with the statutory requirements regarding public consultation process and that there were no comments received. The licensee financial and technical performance are not satisfactory as indicated by higher deficit and higher energy losses. However, there is improvement. The deficit is due to higher energy loss. If the municipality reduces its energy losses to 12%, the municipality will have a surplus of 18.24%. The cost of supply study submitted last year recommends an average tariff increase of 22% for the licensee to achieve full cost reflective. However, the municipality adopted a 2-year phase-in approach to implement the result of the COS. The municipality implemented 11.05 in the 24-25 financial year and is proposing 11.14 increase for 25-26 financial year. It is therefore, Chairperson, recommend that the energy regulator knows the cost drives submitted by the municipality. The tariffs that are based on the cost drivers be approved as recommended in the above analysis for implementation by the municipality with effect from 1 July 2025. All cost information submitted by the municipality will be subjected to an independent audit and may be clawed back upon receipt and verification of audited financial figures by the regulator. The municipality submit a report accounting for all costs that have been noted to enable the regulator to perform its independent verification audit, and also taking into account all the recommendation, comments, and guidance as raised by the members. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mogadima. Members, any questions, issues of clarity or points of enhancements on Merafong's application, if any? I do not see any hands. The recommendations have been read into the record. Can I get an indication that members support their approval as read out? Thank you, Ms. Maseti. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. I also support. We move on to Blackie. Ms. Masike.
Thank you, Chairperson. Good afternoon to you and the board. The Solplaatje municipality is based in the Northern Cape province, and in terms of the indicators, the municipality is not doing well as the deficit has improved from 19 to 7.32, and the energy losses have increased from 29% to 25%. The municipality has submitted the reasons why they have high energy losses, which NERSA has noted. And we've also done the calculation in terms of foregone revenues. If the losses were at about 12%, the municipality would have increased their surplus by 165 million. When it comes to consultation, we have consulted and we received about 7 comments from stakeholders which were analyzed in terms of under section 7.1, and the most of the tariffs were complaining about the tariffs that are increasing by high increases, but Sol Plaatje has applied for 9.6% increase, which is actually below the bulk increase that has been allowed for Eskom. So we have actually recommended that the 9.6% increase be approved as applied for, to assist the municipality to okay, it's not enough to assist the municipality to recover their or to pay the Eskom account, which has been increased by 11.32, but we are recommending it for approval as applied for, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Masike. Members, any questions or comments on this particular application? And there is an analysis and consideration of the comments received on paragraph 7.1. Any questions, members, issues of clarity on this application? If there's none, may I, by show of hand, get an indication that members support the recommendations as read into the record? Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Thank you, Ms. Maseti, and also in support. That was the last tariff application that we had to consider this morning. On that note, I'm going to request that we move on to the next item, which is the second item for our open session, which is the City of Cape Town's regulatory financial report for the 2023-24 financial year. Mr. Ntakeni, you've got 2 minutes to take us through the submission. Take it as having been read. Over to you.
Yes, Chairperson, thank you very much, and good morning to you and the members. So we have received this report on the 9th of April, and we have analyzed it. The summary of the analysis can be seen or observed on table 1. What we have seen in the analysis is that the municipality's financial performance has improved when compared to the previous financial years. All the indicators are showing improvements, Chairperson. The profitability, liquidity, solvency, and efficiency ratios. So just safe to say the financial performance of the metropolitan based on the general accepted accounting ratios has improved when compared to previous financial years. We had further provided an overall summary. If you go to section 8 of the report for each and every category of the ratios. The last part, Chairperson, was the comparative analysis, which members had requested in the previous reports that we provide a comparative analysis as to how the metropolitans are performing. We have done that, and it can be observed under table 2, where we had compared. Mainly the focus was on the sales revenue and the expenditure. And that comparative, Chairperson, in the interest of time, if I may not get into the details, it can be seen in that table where we show that analysis. Chairperson, with that, we are recommending under section 15 that the committee note the submission and evaluation done. There's just one recommendation that we omitted, which is that to communicate or to inform the municipality of the evaluation that we have conducted. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Ntatageni. Members, any questions, issues of clarity or points of enhancement on this particular item? If you have any, please do raise your hand. I'll give you the platform to comment. I don't see any hand. On that note, members, the recommendations are on page 16, paragraph 15. I think the first one has been read into the record, which is to recommend the REC to note the submission and the evaluation of the RFRs submitted by the City of Cape Town. And secondly, which is a second recommendation that Mr. Ntakeni added, was that the analysis that has been done by NESA will be communicated to the licensee. By show of hands, members, can I get an indication that you support the recommendations as read into the record? Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Ms. Maseke are also support. We have come to the end of the open session of our meeting. Let me thank the members, NESA personnel, and all the stakeholders that have joined us through various platforms for joining us for this particular REC meeting. On that note, we have come to the end of the open session.